Humans been controlled since the day that they were civilized. The truth has been so heavily politicized. If you don't know who's controlling you and killing all the little guys, find out who you're not allowed to criticize. Black folks who were never ever actual slaves, fighting with white folks who ain't actual Nazis. Controlled by rich folks who use the news to make hate, while elite folks control all the political parties. It's a big lie, trying to make you pick sides, trying to make you burn the cities down and kill each other. They got sick minds. Big lies, deep on the police so that there's big crime. To take away our freedom, to restore order they let die. Play with people, turn men into women, make the counterculture mainstream to mix up the system. Change the pronouns, if gender is a spectrum, so is privilege. I know poor white folks and black celebrities with millions. They starve you with a lack of information and only give you facts through a branded corporation. Distort your worldview with an algorithm that changes based on propaganda curated for your engagement.
Stop it there and welcome to Make a Reaction Reviews, where we react to review to things on the internet. And we're back with Tom Macdonald. Hog fam, please stand up. And he's back with a banger, speaking truth to power, and already coming out with lots and lots to react to. But I'll just hit on a couple of things. Like when he said that humans been controlled since the human race has been civilized, which is very, very true. None of this is new. None of this is what we're seeing right now is new. I think it's just becoming more obvious because we have access to information. We have social media. We're living in the age of information. And I think that's why it seems such a big deal now, because now people have access to the truth. But I think this has always been going on. I think people have always been easily controlled, easily manipulated, and easily programmed. When he said the truth is being politicized, another banger, another mic drop, and completely factual. It's like even the telescope discovery that came out recently about that the Big Bang Theory might not be true, and how a lot of people who worship that ideology and that theory like it was the Lord God and Savior is very, very resistant to that being the case, because the idea of Big Bang or the idea of God not existing has been politicized. But a lot of stuff has been politicized that shouldn't be politicized, like the global virus, like gender, like sexuality, like race. Everything is politicized to the point where especially the younger generation thinks like if you are apolitical or you're not political, then something's wrong with you or you're privileged, which is wrong, and it's divisive. It just tears your society apart. Not everything needs to be politicized. And when you politicize the truth, you bury the truth, because if the truth doesn't go along with your political narrative, then it's no longer allowed to be spoken, at least not out loud. Black folks who were never slaves attacking white folks who were never these guys. I don't know if I can say it because YouTube censorship. But yeah, or I would say like black folks who were never slaves appropriating their ancestors' struggle and attacking white people as if they were the slave owners themselves, where they're not their ancestors. And it's a good chance their ancestors weren't even slave owners, because not a large portion of the population actually owned slaves. Owning slave was a rich folks thing to do. Own slave was a privileged thing to have. Not every poor white folk that lived back in the day had slaves. So you're attacking people using, again, your ancestors' struggle, appropriating their struggle, their past, their lived experience, taking it on as your own, and then attacking white people as if they were directly responsible for slavery, right? And then the other line where he said the elite is controlling the political parties, which is also true. Like, money controls the government, basically, right? We have money in our government. We have lobbyists in our government. They control the government. Big corporations control the government. Where the way they're swinging is controlling the government. People that were not elected controls the government. People who are control of FDA, Big Pharma, people who control of Silicon Valley and our social media platforms, our search engine platforms, the platforms that's supposed to give us access to information and what the truth is supposed to be. They control it, and they're non-elected officials, right? They get to control access to what the truth is, or they get to say what the truth is. We didn't elect them, right? Or people like a part of the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset. We didn't elect these people that all of a sudden have gained so much power to be able to tell us how to live our lives, how to think, what is right, what is wrong, what your values should be, what your principles should be, and what your perspective of the world should be. We didn't elect these people, but these people control our lives, and they control the government. Anyway, loves it. Let's get back into the song.
Our engagement. We can't be free, can't have no peace till we're on the same team, but y'all are been rotting your brain, controlling your mouth. You say lit, fleet, bet, cap, they trying to dumb you down. They endorse whatever narrative is popular to shout, and use minorities in movies for diversity clout. Two sides on the spectrum, but ain't none of them honest. Took the red pill and the blue pill, spit them both in the garbage. Being woke used to mean you understood you're a target, and now it's having two good legs and never taking a step forward. If you agree it's free speech, disagree it's hate speech. Erase it if it came from anywhere except the mainstream. Trump supporters labeled as the racist, but that can't be. Lincoln was Republican, and that's who ended slavery. Science been politicized, it's easy to see. A mask became a symbol of which side you believe, but you'll never cure a sickness till you cure the greed, because the problem with our natural immunity is it's free. Society is broken, want you locked inside a cubicle, addicted to pornography, liquor, and pharmaceuticals. Tell you that you're fat and poor and you were never beautiful, then tweet how much they love you when they hear about your funeral. We can't be free, can't have no peace till we're on the same team, but y'all are sheep. Blue to screens, just part of the machine. Y'all are sheeple. What do y'all believe? Oh my sheeple. Nothing's what it seems.
Alright, stopping it there. Okay, we gotta go back a little bit. He said a lot in the second verse. Okay, saying that Hollywood is like dumbing you down with this shorthand language that we use, like lit, fleet, whatever, slang, but also brings me back to the idea of like white talk, black talk, right, which is just urban speak, urban lingo, but they call it black, they label it black for some reason. But it's always funny how like the way to talk black is the way to talk ignorant, to not use complete words or sentences, say ain't and stuff like that. And talking white is to talk articulate and educated and use a large vocabulary. It's very strange how that is. And it's almost like talking white is supposed to be like an insult, to talk like you read the dictionary once or twice, and to talk black is like the cool thing. That's very strange. That's very interesting, but it helps dumb you down, because eventually if you don't use that part of the brain to use the words you know, then you lose it, right? And so you become dumbed down, right? And social media is there to dumb us down anyway. Even the whole 15-second clips, the 30-second clips is used to shorten our attention spans, so we can't even learn. It is to dumb us down and to distract us. Pinning people up against each other, burning down their own cities. These elite have sick minds. Very true. They pin you up against each other. They sit back in their gilded cages and they tell you to go protest, you to go riot, you to go loot, you to go burn your cities down. And they don't ever have to pay the consequences of what you're doing to your own communities, what you're doing to your own neighborhoods, what you're doing to your own lifestyles. They don't have to pay for the consequences of that. They can say open borders because they don't have to pay the consequences of overcrowded neighborhoods and overcrowded schools where kids can't get a proper education. They don't have to pay for the consequences, and when you burn these big business, when you burn your businesses down in your neighborhood and there's no longer employment for the people that live in those communities, they don't have to pay for that. They don't have to pay for the crime that enter these communities when you demoralize the police around those areas. They don't have to pay for those consequences, but they will push you to do it so you can be self-destructive to yourselves. It's almost like they want us to destroy each other while they sit there and play puppets, right? They can cause chaos and then come in and pretend to be the heroes. So anyway, I love the song, I love the hook, I love everything about the song. Alright, let's continue.
They can't convince you, they confuse you. They want you dumb or dead. They divided you by race, religion, income, and sex. Made everybody right and left. The hatred got so intense. If the other side likes oxygen, you'll put a bag on your head. And the conspiracy theories labeled as misinformation is just a terrifying truth that scares the hell out the nation. The system treating you like trash and you got rifles to aim with. Just imagine how they'll treat you when your guns get confiscated. George Orwell, 1984 was his last lecture. George called them thought police. Now we call them fact checkers. Government surveillance trying to catch you, they don't ask questions. Mass incarceration equals capital for cash investors. The system isn't broke, it's working fine. Oppressive and chaotic is how it was designed. They say if we ain't doing nothing wrong, there's nothing to hide. While their agenda and intelligence completely classified. They don't teach you rights in school, you never learn them at all. Cause they're easy to remove if you don't know what they are. The only people you can rule are the criminal ones. So they force you into corners till you're breaking the law. We can't be free, can't have no peace till we're on the same team, but y'all are sheep. Blue to screens, just part of the machine. Y'all are sheeple. What do y'all believe? Oh my sheeple.
sides like oxygen, you'll put bags in your head because of the divide has got so intense. Again, the running theme in the song and what I spoke about on the channel so much. When you just create an enemy out of your neighbor, just because you're on a team and just because you're on a side, even though you have all the reasons in the world, even though you have all the justifications, that side is destroying the economy. That side is destroying civilization. That side is, killing our children. Whatever your justification is to just hate that side. They're the enemy. You just stop thinking. One other thing I love about Tom Macdonald is Tom Macdonald does not play tribalism. He doesn't pick sides. And he just said, he took the blue pill and he took the red pill and he spit both of them in the trash. And he said, the extremes on the other side are fucking stupid and annoying. And I've said this so many times on my channel. Being tribal will only go the way that you're making fun of the other side today. The extreme right and extreme left, the tribes on both sides, you don't think for yourselves. You just root for a team. You go, this is my team. I'm going to root for them no matter what the ideology is, no matter what they say, because I just don't like the other side. The other side is destroying our society, so I just have to stick to this side no matter what the values, no matter what the principles, no matter what comes out of their mouth. I'm just going to support it because this is my side. You become a sheep. You become a sheeple. You stop thinking for yourself. You just become a tribe member, right? So what? You might win the culture war for a moment, but then you just go extreme right, and then that'll be the new culture war to fight. Think for yourself, be independent, be an individualist, be a critical thinker. Don't just blindly follow either side. And that's why I always loved about Tom Macdonald. He's always been very pro, we need to fucking unify. Yes, he pointed out the crazy left stuff. He pointed out the crazy woke stuff. He points out the crazy progressive stuff, because right now that's the mainstream thing, right? But if we were back in the 1950s when everything was extremely conservative and women didn't have rights anymore and stuff like that, he would be talking about that too, because he's just pointing out the thing that's the most extreme, the loudest at the moment. But he's always been about unifying. But if you keep playing tribal, we're never going to unify. The country will never unify, and there will just be a civil war. So you can keep playing tribes all you want and hope that your team wins, but when that civil war happens, the entire country is going to be destroyed. So that's why I don't play tribes. And that's why I've always liked Tom Macdonald, where he's like, both extremes are stupid. Both sides are dumb. Come together, unify, try to have a conversation, try to talk to each other, try to understand the other side. I know that's hard, and I know sometimes it's easy just to go libtard, they're stupid, they're crazy, they're in a cult. I do the same thing. I add to that rhetoric, I add to the conversation. I know that, but I also try to be like, don't be tribal. You know what I mean? And it's very frustrating to see when you see the conservatives do the same thing as the left, the same exact thing. Billie Eilish came out and she wanted to talk about how the destruction of porn. Billie Eilish talked about how bad porn was for her generation. And what did the conservatives say? Did he invite her to the conversation? No. They just went, but she's a liberal, so who cares what she says? But she's saying something that you say. Why can't you come together and have the conversation with her? Oh, because she's on the other side, so I don't want to have a conversation with her. I had made a video about Tulsi Gabbard. Oh yeah, but she voted for the liberals. But she backed Bernie. But she backed it. I don't care what she has to say. But she's coming to the table now to have a conversation. But instead of having that conversation, what do? Oh, she's a liberal. She's a Democrat. I don't want to hear it. La 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 la. Doing the same thing as the other side. So don't act like you're more self-righteous. Don't act like you're on a better pedestal as the other person when you're doing the same freaking thing. I'm not saying not to have a level of skepticism, especially when it comes to voting for someone. Of course, you want to make sure that their record matches what they're saying. I'm not saying that. But to try to shut the conversation down simply because they're not on your team, you're not thinking anymore. You're just on a side. So I totally agree with what Tom Macdonald says. It's just the extremes on either side. It's not going to fix society. It's going to be destructive to society at the end of the day. Whether, you win the Civil War or not, good luck picking up all the rubble and trying to rebuild from that. Metaphorically and literally. The line where he says, labeling the truth as misinformation is just a terrifying truth that they're scared or running away from. Very true. Very, very true. It's funny how the mainstream, who espouse misinformation themselves, get to be the ones who dictate what misinformation is or not misinformation. It's become very, very plainly obvious. It's not misinformation. It goes against the narrative. It goes against what they want to be the popular belief, right, of reality. I love when he brought up George Orwell, how we used to call him thought police. Now we call him fact checkers, because that's exactly what it is. He talked about surveillance, where he says if you're doing nothing wrong, then there's nothing to hide, but where the government's agenda is completely hidden and classified. That's a really good point. Like, we have to be completely open about what we're talking about, what we're doing online and all that stuff, and they're even trying to make it more that way by like spying on us, but like they get to do everything in the dark and not tell us and lie, and if we even ask questions, then you're called a conspiracy theorist. And I love how he talked about how like they don't teach you your rights in school, because then if they're taken away, you don't notice, or you don't even know what your rights are. Your rights, your God-given rights, is given to you by God. They're not given to you by the government. The government's job is to protect your God-given rights, not to give you rights and then take them away or say you are allowed to have them or not. And so because you're not teaching that in schools, there are people who think that your rights come from the government. No, they come from God. Their job is to protect the right that God gave you. The whole thing we said about science becomes politicized, I already just hit on this, and I made a few videos about this already when I reacted to Graham Hancock, where he talked about how territorial and how gatekeepy the science community is, and how it has becoming politicized and it can be bought and sold, and the whole idea that the mask did just become a symbol. It was no longer the mask stopped spread. The mask stops you from getting sick. It was, I'm on this side. And also, not wearing masks was the same thing. This is my side. This is my tribe. This is me signaling my virtue to my side. This is the side that I'm on. And it's just ridiculous. I'm passionate about the whole divisive thing in America, because it is going to be the thing that destroys America. The divisiveness, the divide, is going to be the thing that destroys America. So what, if there's a civil war and the right wins because they have all the guns, you know, good luck picking up all the pieces and trying to put the country back together. So, and I know it's no one's one fault, but like, everything becoming politicized is the same thing as the divide in every aspect that you see it now. The political divide, the race divide, the gender divide, the economic divide, all of this divide, the privileged and the unprivileged, the oppressed and the unoppressed, is all divisive, and we all play right into it all the time. I love how he hit on the idea that, you know, we can't talk about our immunity system, especially when it came to the 2-year virus, because that's free. And there's a lot of ways to hear your body that is completely free that you'll never hear the mainstream media talking about. That's why you gotta do your own research and be your own advocate, your own health advocate, and not really follow along with the mainstream medical narrative. Not to say that I'm anti-modern medicine, but a lot of it is on the basis of making as much money as they possibly can, and hitting on the, you know, it make people addicted to porn and alcohol, and basically create people who are just ultimately self-destructive. Anyway, guys, this video was amazing. There was a lot that he said in this video, a lot that I couldn't even hit on. It was like every single bar was something new that he was saying. It was packed with information. I absolutely loved it. Can be seen as, you know, the same thing being said over and over again. There was some new information in there, but I think these things are at the top of everyone's mind who are paying attention today, about what's relevant in the culture, what's relevant in politics, what's relevant in everyone's mind. So I think it needs to be said again. It wasn't my favorite beat, it wasn't my favorite hook, but I still absolutely loved it. And I also like the big eye, the big eye thing, kind of like, what is it called? It's like Orwell, when you have like the thought police or the big daddy government constantly spying on you, but it was like a lizard eye, because like the conspiracy theory that they're all lizard people, like whatever. So I kind of like the play on that. And I also like the robots. It's almost like we're all robots, we're all being programmed, or we're all just, you know, just duplicates of each other because we're being programmed by the same narrative and by the same system. But you have this one robot kind of trying to break out of that narrative slowly and surely, checking on other people. Are you with me? Am I the only one waking up here? I really like that imagery. But you guys, tell me what you think of this video, what you thought of the video, what you got out of the video in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell to get notifications when I do upload. All that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, you can donate. My PayPal link is in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps. But you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop, links down below. And links to all of my alternate platforms, including my Rumble, my Minds.com, my Odyssey, my Discord, my Twitter, the links to all of my other YouTube channels also in the links down below. And I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle. I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go to the description box below and also in the comment section. Hit the link. Go subscribe to my travel vlog channel and follow me on my travel Instagram. My stories is usually what's most up to date. And you guys have an amazing day. Bye.